A box can solve Tuesday night once. The harder question is whether it can make Tuesday night repeat. That was the quiet problem inside Blue Apron. The first box made sense. Recipes arrived, ingredients arrived. The grocery trip disappeared. The customer opened the box and felt like dinner had been organized for them. But Blue Apron was not built to sell one good dinner. It was built to turn that first dinner into a subscription rhythm. Every week, the customer had to want the box again. Every week, they had to look at their calendar, pick meals, receive fresh ingredients, cook them before they spoiled, clean the kitchen, and decide that the next box still belonged in their life. Blue Apron started in 2012 with a simple idea. Its founders wanted to cook at home, but grocery shopping and menu planning felt burdensome, time-consuming, and expensive. So the company sent recipes and pre-portioned ingredients directly to customers. At its best, the product made home cooking feel planned without making it feel generic. By the time Blue Apron went public in 2017, the company had a powerful story. From inception through March 31st of that year, it said it had delivered more than 159 million meals, representing about 25 million paid orders. Revenue had gone from $77.8 million in 2014 to $340.8 million in 2015, then to $795.4 million in 2016. That kind of growth made the product look inevitable. It was easy to imagine the old grocery trip being replaced by a weekly box. It was easy to imagine dinner becoming a planned subscription, the same way music, software, and television had become subscriptions. The numbers underneath were less comfortable. Blue Apron was still losing money. It lost $30.8 million in 2014, $47.0 million in 2015, and $54.9 million in 2016. In the first quarter of 2017, right before the IPO, it generated $244.8 million of net revenue and lost $52.2 million. The company was also paying heavily to create trial. Marketing expense was $14.0 million in 2014, $51.4 million in 2015, $144.1 million in 2016, and $60.6 million in the first quarter of 2017 alone. Blue Apron told investors it used paid advertising, referrals, and promotional discounts for new customers. It had begun emphasizing those discounts in 2016. That matters because a discount can buy curiosity. It cannot prove habit. The first Blue Apron box asked a simple question. Would you like dinner made easier this week? The subscription asked a much harder question. Do you want your household to keep cooking this way? Those are different products. One sells relief, the other sells routine. The IPO prospectus contained the clue. Blue Apron said customers, on average, order less frequently or sometimes cease ordering over time. It also said increased promotional discounts were the primary driver of a decline in 6-month cumulative net revenue per customer. The 2016 cohort sat below the 2014 cohort. That is dry filing language, but the meaning is sharp. The company could acquire customers. The bigger question was whether those customers would keep ordering enough at high enough value for long enough to make the acquisition spend and the operating model work. Blue Apron's public market debut put that question on a clock. It priced the IPO at $10 per share and sold 30 million shares. In the first quarter of 2017, Blue Apron reported 1.036 million customers and 4.273 million orders. Its average order value was $57.23, and customers placed 4.1 orders each during the quarter. By the fourth quarter of 2017, the customer count was 746,000. That was still a large customer base. It was also a very different story from the one investors had just bought. Blue Apron said its 2017 revenue increased to $881.2 million, but it also said substantially all of that growth came from new customers. The company reduced marketing in the second half of the year while it focused on operational improvements at its Linden fulfillment center. The repeat engine was already showing strain. A meal kit is simple at the front door and complicated everywhere else. The company has to predict what customers will want. It has to buy food. It has to pack perishable ingredients. It has to manage cold chain timing, shipping windows, menu variety, recipe development, refunds, credits, and labor. A box that misses the customer's schedule is not like a streaming app the customer can ignore for a week. It arrives, it takes up space, it expires. That made customer behavior operationally important. When demand is predictable, the system can plan. When customers skip, churn, pause, or need discounts to return, the kitchen decision becomes a supply chain problem. Blue Apron did not need every customer to order forever. No subscription does. But it did need enough customers to treat home cooking as a recurring habit. The trend moved the other way. At the end of 2018, Blue Apron reported 557,000 customers for the fourth quarter. At the end of 2019, it reported 351,000. Revenue fell from $881.2 million in 2017 to $667.6 million in 2018. In 2019, it fell again to $444.9 million. Marketing expense fell too. It dropped from $154.5 million in 2017 to $117.5 million in 2018, then to $48.1 million in 2019. That can look like discipline, and in some ways it was. But when a company depends on paid acquisition to refill a leaking customer base, lower marketing can reveal how much of the old growth came from constantly buying the next trial. Then the pandemic briefly made Blue Apron's pitch feel more natural. In 2020, more people were eating at home. Blue Apron said revenue rose to $460.6 million, up 1% from 2019, primarily because customers ordered more frequently and ordered more meals per order. In 2021, revenue rose again to $470.4 million, helped by higher average order value and average revenue per customer. That period showed the product could matter when household routines shifted toward home cooking, but it also showed the limit of the model. The strongest moment for home cooking did not restore Blue Apron to its IPO customer base. By the fourth quarter of 2022, Blue Apron had 298,000 customers. In the first quarter of 2017, it had 1.036 million. The remaining customers were not worthless. In fact, they were more valuable by some measures. In Q4 2022, average order value was $73.15 compared with $57.23 in Q1 2017. Orders per customer were 4.9 compared with 4.1 in Q1 2017. That is the strange shape of the business. The surviving customer looked stronger, but there were far fewer of them. A smaller, loyal base was not enough to carry the company that Blue Apron had built for a much larger market. In 2022, revenue declined to $458.5 million. Blue Apron said the decrease was primarily due to lower customers and orders, partly due to macroeconomic pressure on consumer spending, and partly offset by higher average order value from price increases and product variety. That is a compact version of the whole problem. The box became more expensive, the remaining customers ordered at higher value, but customer count and orders still moved down. At that point, the problem was no longer only about habit, it was about liquidity. Blue Apron's cash and equivalents fell from $82.2 million at the end of 2021 to $33.5 million at the end of 2022. Its 2022 annual report included going concern language. The company said that if expected funding and alternatives did not happen, it could be unable to continue as early as the end of the second quarter of 2023. Going concern language does not mean a company is dead. It means management sees conditions that raise substantial doubt about its ability to keep operating without a successful plan. For Blue Apron, that plan depended on funding, cost savings, financing alternatives, and more time. In June 2023, the company took a major step. It sold its production and fulfillment operational infrastructure to FreshRealm. That included inventory, equipment, related know-how, and production personnel. At the same time, Blue Apron entered a 10-year agreement that made FreshRealm the exclusive supplier of its meal kits. In plain English, Blue Apron tried to remove the heaviest part of the machine from its own balance sheet. That move makes sense when the original model has become too heavy. If the brand still has value and customers still exist, maybe the company can survive by carrying less infrastructure. But it also confirms how much the logistics mattered. The part that looked invisible to the customer had become central to survival. By September 30th, 2023, Blue Apron reported 238,000 customers and 1.236 million orders for the quarter. It also reported a working capital deficit of dollars 47.7 million, an accumulated deficit of dollars 866.0 million, and dollars 27.2 million in cash and equivalents. The filing again said conditions raised substantial doubt about its ability to continue as a going concern. Then came the exit. On September 28, 2023, Blue Apron agreed to be acquired by Wonder for dollars 13 per share in cash. The transaction closed in November. Blue Apron became a wholly owned subsidiary, and the company requested that its shares be delisted and deregistered. That ending is important. Blue Apron did not end because dinner delivery had no market. It did not end because nobody wanted to cook. It did not end as a simple morality tale about discounts or competition. It ended as a public company because the repeat behavior never matched the scale and cost structure the company needed. The first box was a promise. It said, "You can cook something better tonight without planning the whole thing yourself." The 10th box was a test. It asked whether that promise had become part of the customer's life. For enough customers, it had not. Sometimes they ordered less, sometimes they paused, sometimes they stopped. Sometimes the price, the calendar, the cleanup, the fridge, or the simple fatigue of choosing dinner made the next box easier to skip than to receive. That is the difference between solving a task and owning a habit. Blue Apron solved a task beautifully. It made dinner feel curated, measured, and possible, but the business needed more than a good meal. It needed a weekly behavior loop strong enough to pay for marketing, absorb discounts, support perishable logistics, withstand competition, and satisfy public investors. That loop was never as strong as the first box made it look. The lesson is not that subscription businesses are bad. The lesson is that a subscription is only as strong as the behavior underneath it. If the behavior is already frequent, easy, and automatic, billing can follow it. If the behavior is aspirational, messy, and schedule dependent, the company has to earn the renewal every week. Blue Apron could ship dinner. It could not ship the habit.